Hello everyone, and welcome to another tutorial video on this SomaWave Therapy app. This is the fourth video and it's covering the ramp mode. Hopefully you started with the very first video, the overview of the app itself, and then second video on the manual mode, third video on sweep mode, and now ramp mode. So let's dive in and get to the details. Okay, so with the ramp mode, we are going to be adding a new feature. Again, moving from simple to complex. This new feature is adding the binaural beat sync to alarm feature. And again, as a reminder, the manual mode was working with the binaural beat just as a static, non-changing element, and volume or amplification. Then sweep mode was adding cycle speed, bringing that element in, and now we're bringing in the binaural beat sync to alarm feature. So it's getting a little more complicated, but greater capabilities. So I would say the ramp mode is one of my favorites, although I did say that about slow-mo, which was a sweep going back and forth from a low point to a high point, back and forth. So what distinguishes this mode, and what I like about it that I feel is so powerful in bringing me to a relaxed state, is frequency-wise, it's moving downward from a high point to a low point, and the binaural beats are moving from a high point down to a low point. These two elements physiologically, subconsciously, I think are very powerful in bringing one to a very deep, relaxed state. So the first thing to note, different from the sweep cycle where a full cycle was up and then back down for a complete cycle, ramp mode goes down for a complete cycle. Just one direction is considered a complete cycle. So if you are going to be taking a 30-minute nap, you have this set at 30 minutes, it's going to take you 30 minutes to descend, and that'll be considered one cycle. You could get more repetitive and creative, bring this down and do a repetitive over and over downward cycle. But one cycle is considered from a high point to a low point. The second feature, binaural beats sync to alarm, you turn on with the toggle button. That brings up the second column. Now you have a directionality whereby binaural beats are decrementing over time from a high point to a low point. And it's going to do that over the amount of time that is set in the alarm. So this then activates the alarm. You would need to go to alarm, see that it is 29 here, 30 minutes. I'll explain that in a minute. And then it will decrement from your set high point to a low point over the course of that alarm time. Once again, turning this on activates whatever time is in the alarm. So you need to go to alarm, check, and make sure that you have your desired time. At this point, I would note that I have 29 minutes here. And what I need to explain is, unfortunately, there is a bug in the system. This is a workaround. So very quickly, if I can explain that, bring this back up to 30. If you're going to be taking, say, a 30-minute nap, it's going to take 30 minutes to slide down here. The bug element is that the calculating timer that's calculating the time to slide down here ends up being slightly faster than the alarm that's counting down. So you'll get a sudden jump up to the top, which is a little bit disconcerting if you're nice and relaxed. So just try to keep it simple here. 1 minute less will avoid that quick jump. So for a 30-minute cycle here, just set it to 29 minutes, one less. If you're going to go for a 60-minute nap or 60-minute sound session, set it to 59 minutes, just 1 minute less to avoid any sudden jump. So how to use this with your client or yourself? I'd make a couple suggestions. And again, I would suggest the idea of matching your energy or your client's energy with the frequency and the binaural beat. Try to match their energy as they're showing up. If they're feeling stressed, anxious, little chaotic or frazzled, their energy is going to be a little bit higher. Try to match that and then be bringing them down with the ramp mode. One way to do this is to go to manual mode, turn the app on, and you could just start really low and just literally drag slowly up and just checking in with them to see how they're feeling, and maybe ask them like when it starts to get a little bit too much energy. It might be that it would be up in the higher range. Slowly drag up, maybe a little slower than this, and then kind of get their comfort level in terms of where they're feeling they would like to start their session at. I might insert here, just a few days ago, I tried the ramp mode after not having done it in a while. And I did start somewhere along 45. I think I had set it at 45. Was on the table for a few minutes and wasn't quite feeling it. And decided to start over. I increased my frequency up to 55. It's turned on. I increased the binaural beat action up to 1.5, which is very high. I would suggest that this is a little bit abnormal. I usually do 1.0. You could do 0.7. You don't always have to do 0. 0.7 to 0.2. A lot of variables here, but a general downward direction. But the other day I was feeling a little frazzled. I drank some coffee, which is something I don't recommend before a sound session. So I set it up to 1.5 down to 0. Pretty fast. 55 hertz, pretty fast. Ramp mode. And I did a 30-minute session. Turned it on, and it felt perfect. It was great. It hit the spot. So it kind of matched my energy. I also used a weighted blanket on my lower extremities. My feet were feeling really restless. Legs were jumping, kind of the restless leg syndrome. The weighted blanket, I highly recommend. I include that in the package, the SomaWave Therapy package. I think it's a great addition, and people seem to really like a weighted blanket. So that's something to consider. So again, try to match the client's energy. discovering the frequency. Should also mention, when you're in manual mode, turn this off. When you're in manual mode, start the app and bring binaural beats all the way down, and then slowly, again, this is similar to the frequency, slowly increment the binaural beats and ask them, where does it start feeling like it's matching their energy, or they're starting to feel a little uncomfortable? And maybe this is too much energy. Ask them to tell you when it's too much energy. And then bring it down maybe 1 or 2, and then say, okay, maybe they want it right there at 1.1. Turn off the app. And then you're ready to go. Set this to ramp mode. You've found their frequency at 55, binaural beats at 1.1, and 30-minute is set here. Check your alarm. Okay, good thing we checked. Set it for 29 minutes, 1 minute less than 30 for the bug workaround. And there we go, we're off. So that's just a very quick, specific example on how to find, match your client's energy. I'd like to mention some variables or variations to this downward ramp mode. And that is, what if instead of going downward, we're moving from a low point to a high point upward? Instead of deep relaxation bringing their energy down, is it possible that we can raise someone's energy if they're feeling a little down, a little low in the funk, lethargic? Is it possible that starting from a low point to a high point could be beneficial in raising their energy? I've experimented a little bit with this, not very much, haven't put much time into it. Highly encourage you to take a look at that. I think it does sort of work. It's a bit of a mix because the vibration itself is relaxing, and yet the upward movement does sort of tend to feel like I've got a little bit more energy. So it's a mix, but I encourage you to check that out. So I have down here Energizer. Take a look at that. Have 25 hertz at the low point, going up to 55 hertz. Notice the alarm is set and the arrow is up, meaning, or just as a reminder, that we're moving upward. We have a low point of 0.1 moving up to 1.0. Volume is down a little bit. That's, maybe if you're feeling a little bit low energy, you may want to start quiet. And that's completely arbitrary. You could raise that volume if you'd like. But it's an upward movement. Binaural beats will be increasing, speeding up over time. The alarm is set at 30. Notice the difference now, though. And this is just one element or one experiment. I have this set for 1 minute. So it's not a solid 30-minute nap. This is a repetitive action. So it's going to take 1 minute to get up to the top, and then it's going to start over again. So you'll have about 30 cycles, 29 or 30 cycles of this upward movement, which, theoretically could be a way to energize your body. So this is just a variation, 1 minute cycle. You could change that and make it faster. But notice as it gets to the top, 55 hertz, jumps back, complete cycle for one more cycle, and it's going to do that until the alarm goes off. And we're counting down. So that is one option. Repetitive cycles. Of course, it could be a complete 30-minute nap or 29-minute nap. That takes the whole time to get up to the top. So that's the other possibility. So there you have it. That's ramp mode. Next video we'll be covering time shift. That is another feature which adds more complexity and capabilities. Will be a lot of fun. Until then, enjoy, explore all the fun that a ramp mode brings, and we'll see you soon.